Good morning, AFSCME. Welcome to the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I'm thrilled to have you here in Pennsylvania. I want to give a shout out to Dave Henderson and our Philly leadership. Y'all have been there for me and so many others over the years, and I just want to say it's an honor to speak to you today. It's a special honor to be introduced by my friend Dave Philman. You know, when I first ran for office, I went and visited Dave in our local, first union leader I sat down with. And Dave Philman adopted me and said, "We're for you." And when AFSCME says they're for you, they are for you. I know that. And so it's a special honor for me to be able to, Dave, leave that small office we were in Montgomery County and be able to fill the convention center with my friends from AFSCME from all across the country. I'm proud to serve as Pennsylvania's Attorney General. And just shortly after I was sworn in back in 2017, I swore in Pennsylvania's first ever Chief Deputy Attorney General for fair labor, because I believe that workers needed a voice in our courts, workers needed a voice in our communities, and the rule of law needed to apply to protect our workers here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We quickly grew our fair labor section from 1 lawyer to 7 lawyers, and quickly took on those powerful forces that were trying to undermine the rights of workers, dealing with the effects of the Janus decision, where even after that Supreme Court decision, which we fought against, there were more than a dozen lawsuits to try and chip away further at worker rights in our Commonwealth. Well, guess what? Every time they took us to court, we won and workers were protected. We've taken on those greedy CEOs who commit wage theft and worker misclassification, trying to make it harder for people who do backbreaking work in our communities just to make ends meet, just to be able to bring home $1 to their family, to make sure their kids have access to good quality health care. Today in Pennsylvania, there are CEOs who either went or who are about to go to jail because they ripped off a worker and we took them on and won. One of the largest companies in central Pennsylvania, over many years, systematically stole money from workers who were doing backbreaking work on Pennsylvania's highways. They stole money from their health care and benefits. We got a tip. We investigated. We found that they stole over $20 million from workers over 5 years. We took them to court. And the week before Christmas, every single worker got their money back, and those executives were held accountable. When 2 warring healthcare companies in Western Pennsylvania couldn't get over their battles against one another, putting 1.9 million Pennsylvanians' access to health care at risk, including many AFSCME members. We took them on. We brought them together. We settled the terms of that deal, and nearly 2 million people in Western Pennsylvania, including members here, continue to have access to their doctors and their hospitals, because health care matters, and it's a basic right, and we protected it. Now, I've been proud to do that work as your Attorney General, but I'll be even prouder to stand up for you as the next governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Because here's what I know. Here's what I know. I know that the attacks on workers, they're going to continue. The attacks on workers will be unrelenting, and I will always be in your corner. You know, my opponent, the night that he won his primary, he did what my wife says using his inside voice outside, right? And he stood up on his victory night. And before he could even thank his supporters, before he talked even a second about what he was going to do to alleviate rising costs or improve public education or public safety or grow our economy, before he did any of that, he took a shot at, quote, union bosses. His word, not mine. The first thing he did was attack the union way of life. Let me tell you something, as governor, I will always defend the union way of life here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Always. Always. Because I know a healthy union leads to a healthy economy. A healthy economy leads to safe communities, prosperous communities, communities where people have a shot. And I want you to know you all will always be at the table with me. But I also hope you know it's all on the line right now. It's all on the line right now. This race for governor in Pennsylvania is in many ways taking on importance across our country because we know that worker rights are on the line. We know that voting rights is on the line. We know that reproductive rights are on the line in this governor's race. And I am very mindful of the fact that it is my name on the ballot, but it's your futures that is at stake. And I'm here to fight for you every single day, every single day. This race is about worker rights. It's also about, and hear me on this, it's also about protecting our fundamental freedoms. And yes, I'm using the word freedom. The other side doesn't get to corner the use of that term or the use of the flag. I believe that our freedoms are on the ballot in this election, here in Pennsylvania and across this country. My opponent, well, he loves to talk about freedom, right? He loves to cloak himself in the blanket of freedom. And those of you not from Pennsylvania, you've seen this playbook before with some of the folks on the other side. They talk a good game about freedom. Let me tell you something. It's not freedom when they tell the women of this Commonwealth and this country what they're allowed to do with their bodies. That's not freedom. It's not. It's not. It's not freedom when they tell your children, your grandchildren, my children, what books they're allowed to read in school. That's not freedom. It's not freedom when they say, yeah, sure, you're allowed to go work, but you're not allowed to join a union. That's not freedom. And hear me on this. It's not freedom when they say you can go vote, but we'll pick the winner. That's not freedom. And yet that's what they're running on here in Pennsylvania and across this country. And we have a responsibility, AFSCME, right now to stand up, to speak up, and to defend our fundamental freedoms. Folks ask me all the time, you know, why do you do what you do? Why do you do public service? And here's the God's honest truth. I do it for two reasons. Number one, because of my family. Lori and I are blessed with 4 children. I worry about their planet. I worry about their safety. I worry about a future where they don't have the same opportunities I had when I was brought into this world. And I worry about your kids and your grandkids too. The second reason I do what I do is because of my faith. Now, I'm not here to preach at you or tell you what to believe or tell you to believe it all, but I want you to know what my scripture teaches me. My scripture teaches me that no one is required to complete the task, but neither are we free to refrain from it. Now, what does that mean? It means that each of us has a responsibility, that's the key word, a responsibility to get off the sidelines, to get in the game, and to do our part. Folks know in this room, better than most, what happens when you get off the sideline and get in the game. Because when AFSCME's in the game, AFSCME wins. When AFSCME's engaged, good things happen for workers. When AFSCME's engaged and off the sidelines and in the game, we make a difference in life. I was talking to President Saunders a moment ago about everything that's at stake here in Pennsylvania and across the country. Our rights, our freedoms, our opportunities. With you all in this battle with me, I know we're going to win. And not just win an election, but meet this moment. Defend our freedoms and create opportunities for tomorrow with avenues that run through unions. We know we got a lot of work to do. And we know in some parts of this country we're facing some headwinds. But I know with AFSCME off the sidelines and in the game, just like they were for me the first time I went to Dave Philman's office in Montgomery County in my first state rep race, I know we're going to win and bright days will be ahead. I want to thank you for having my back. I want to assure you I'll always have yours. God bless you, stay safe, and know how thankful I am for each and every one of you. Thank you, AFSCME. Now let's go get to work. Thank you.